In Monster Hunter World, there are many aspects to consider when taking on a hunt. The target, your weapon, these are all important, but hunters who want optimal performance need to consider the build they use via the armor and gear they wear. I'm Darcblade, and here are even more builds that I use for the Heavy Bowgun. The skills that you gain from armor and even some weapons can help shape your hunter into specialized hunting machines. With the Heavy Bowgun, this weapon is a master of DPS. And the type of DPS role it can take on can greatly vary thanks to the sheer amount of different ammunition the Heavy Bowgun has access to. However, this all comes at the cost of slow mobility. But that being said, the Heavy Bowgun can make use of shield modifications, potentially allowing a hunter to create ranged tank builds. The builds featured in this video are a combination of high DPS combined with tank builds focusing on survivability. So the first build I use is the GLUTTON DPS build. This is an elementalist DPS build utilising one of the best heavy bowguns in the game, the Assault GLUTTON. As a result, this is also a build that is going to be close range as it's focusing on spread ammunition. So for this build, you need the Dragon King Eye Patch Alpha, Kirin Jacket Gamma, Xeno'jiiva Claws Gamma, Xeno'jiiva Spine Gamma, and the Xeno'jiiva Spurs Gamma. I'm also using a Mighty Charm 2, and for my weapon, like I said, I'm using the Assault GLUTTON. This has an affinity increase augmentation on it, and then an augmentation of your choice. For me, I would go with a health regen augmentation. As for your duels, there are a few mandatory ones here, the first one being a spread duel to provide us with the spread shot skill. Afterwards, I've gone for Elementalist duel to boost the power of the weapon, as the GLUTTON is actually classed as an Elementalist weapon as it doesn't really have any elemental ammunition. I've then gone for a Release duel to max out the ammo up skill, and then after I've gone for DPS orientated duels in the form of Tenderizer duels to help max out Weakness Exploit, Attack duels to get attack boost to at least level 4, Critical duels to max out crit boost, and Expert duels to give us some more critical eye. So, if you've done what I've done here, you should have a build with 100 health, 100 stamina, 338 attack, with 51% affinity, which will actually be 100% when on a hunt and you're going for monster weak points and have full stamina. You have no element, average deviation. For the custom mods, I've gone for 3 close range up mods, although this is purely down to personal preference. You also have the Wyvern Snipe special ammo, and when it comes to defense, you have a fairly strong defense, especially against water, thunder and ice, but you're fairly weak to fire and dragon. Anyway, as for the skills, you'll have attack boost level 4. Attack boost at level 4 not only increases the attack of the build, but it also grants 5% affinity. So, as always, when you're going for attack boost, try to get it to at least the level 4 mark. Afterwards, I've gone for ammo up, level 3. This increases the amount of ammunition we can have in our clips. So, the amount of ammo we have before needing to be reloaded. We'll have crit boost level 3, increasing the damage of our critical hits. Weakness exploit level 3, which increases our affinity by a set percentage when we actually hit a monster weak point. At level 3 it's 50%. You have critical eye level 2, giving us a bog standard boost to our affinity. Maximum might level 2, maximum might increases our affinity again by a certain percentage, so long as we have our stamina full. Afterwards, you'll have Spread Shots level 1, which increases the damage of spread ammunition, and as this build is focused all around spread ammunition, this is kind of mandatory. You'll have Power Prolonger level 1, this is a byproduct of the gear, it's not really needed on a Heavy Bowgun build whatsoever. You'll have Special Ammo Boost level 1, again a byproduct but can be useful, increasing the effectiveness and damage of the Wyvern Snipe special ammo. And you'll have Non-Elemental Boost level 1, which increases the attack of a weapon that doesn't have any element or ailment, as is the case with the Assault GLUTTON. As for the set bonuses, you also have Xeno'jiiva's Divinity Spare Shot, giving us a chance that when we fire our weapon, it won't actually consume a round of ammunition. And whilst you are relying a little bit on luck for this to occur, it normally in the long run allows us to continue a fight longer by not consuming ammo and prevents us from having to reload as often. So as you can see, this is a straightforward high DPS build, focusing on affinity over anything else. Of course, the main issue with this build is its survivability, which for some could be an issue considering you have to be quite close to make use of the spread ammunition type, but using this build you will find that you take monsters out very quickly. Utilising other aspects such as traps or impact mantles will also ensure that you bring down a monster incredibly fast when using this build without having to worry too much about your defense, as the monster is generally crowd controlled. Of course, there's lots of room for changes if you so want. For example, like I said, you could swap out some of the close range bowgun mods for a shield mod, which will allow you to at least block incoming attacks. But ultimately the choice is up to you. Like I said, this is the build I go to for when I want high DPS and to bring down a monster quickly. Anyway, the next build is the Cluster Bomb build version 3.0. This is yet again another version of the Cluster Bomb build. So the main focus of this build will be on the various cluster bombs the Heavy Bowgun has access to. On top of that though, this build is also quite useful and potent when you want to use sticky ammo. So should you run out of cluster bombs, or you be in a situation where a cluster bomb isn't really advisable, just switch over to the sticky ammo. But as a result, this build has high DPS but low affinity. So for this build you'll need the Xeno'jiiva Headgear Gamma, Kirin Jacket Gamma, Xeno'jiiva Claws Gamma, the Xeno'jiiva Spine Gamma and the Nergigante Greaves Gamma. I'm also using an attack charm free, and for my weapon I'm using the Dark Devourer, which is the Deviljho Heavy Bowgun. This has an attack increase augmentation on it and a slot upgrade augmentation on it, which are not normally the augmentations I go for with a weapon, but for this build they kind of work. Anyway, as for the duels, we've gone for duels to focus on increasing our attack more than anything else. So we've gone for Flawless Duels to max out peak performance, KO Duels to add the Slugger skill to this build, a Release Duel to max out ammo up, Attack Duels to max out attack boost, Vitality Duels to max out health boost, and some Defense Duels to add a little bit of defense to this build. Anyway, if you've done what I've done here, you should have a build with 150 health, 100 stamina, which will actually be 200 health when on a hunt and you've taken all your various consumables, 407 attack, which will actually be higher when on a hunt thanks to peak performance, so long as you have maximum health, with minus 20 affinity, no element, high deviation. For the custom mods, I've gone for close range up ×3, you'll have the Wyvern Heart special ammo, and for your defense it's fairly strong, especially against water, thunder and ice, but again you're weak to fire and dragon. As for the skills, you'll have attack boost level 7, defense boost level 3, which increases our defense. Unfortunately we only got it to level 3, so it doesn't do anything in regards to elemental resistance. You have health boost level 3, increasing our maximum health. You'll have ammo up level 3, again increasing the amount of ammunition in a magazine before it needs reloading. You'll have peak performance level 3, increasing our maximum attack so long as we have full health. Blight resistance level 2, a byproduct of the gear but can be useful for resisting certain enemy blights. You have power prolonger level 2, again unfortunately a byproduct of the gear, it's not really needed on the Heavy Bowgun whatsoever. You have slugger level 2, increasing the chance that we actually knock out a monster. You also have critical boost level 1, a byproduct of the gear, because this build really doesn't focus on affinity whatsoever, so it's kind of wasted. And you'll have special ammo boost level 1, again a byproduct but could still be useful if you wanted to make use of the Wyvern Heart. You'll also have the set bonus Xeno'jiiva Divinity, Spare Shot, giving us a chance of not consuming a round or bullet when we actually fire the weapon. So there we have it for this build. It is a little bit unusual, but those of you familiar with how cluster bomb builds work will understand that affinity is not really needed on this build whatsoever. This is because cluster bombs, when they explode, they cannot crit. The same goes for the explosions of sticky ammunition as well. So when using this build, I would also advise taking on the Rocksteady Mantle as well as the health booster. So when the fight starts and you've taken all of your various buffs to increase your attack to its maximum potential, stick the Rocksteady Mantle on, stick the health booster down, get the monster's attention and start firing away with the cluster bombs. Also make sure on your radio menu that you have the quick access to craft more cluster bombs on the fly, because you can only take a small amount into battle with you. But with the option to craft more, it means you can continuously assault a monster with some of the highest damage in the game. I would say to always go through the crafting process whilst you're reloading the Heavy Bowgun. It does take a little bit of time to get used to this way of playing, but should you master it, you'll be able to bring down monsters very quickly, especially when using this build. Lastly, like I said, if you run out of cluster bombs, just switch to sticky ammo or return to your tent to get more cluster bombs. Anyway, let's move on to the third build, which is the health regen Heavy Bowgun build. This build is a pseudo tank build, but focuses more on health regen than anything else. On top of that, it does have some DPS options, so it's a little bit of an all-round build in that sense. So for this build you need the Dragon King Eye Patch Alpha, the Valhazak Mel Gamma, Valhazak Braces Beta, the Valhazak Coil Gamma and the Nergigante Greaves Gamma. I'm also using an Awakening Charm 2, and for my weapon I'm using the Empress Cannon Ruin. This has a health regen augmentation on it. Anyway, as for the duels, I've gone for a mixed bag here of survival and DPS duels. First of all, I've gone for an attack boost to get attack boost to level 4. I've gone for tenderizer duels to provide us a little bit of extra weakness exploit, a flawless duel to max out peak performance, a release duel to max out ammo up, spread duel to provide us with the spread shot skill, as we will be focusing on spread ammunition over the other types. I've then gone for vitality duels to max out health boost, medicine duels to max out recovery up, and a shield jewel to provide us with that guard up skill. Anyway, if you've done what I've done here, you should have a build with 150 health, 100 stamina, which will actually be 200 health when on a hunt and you've taken all your various consumables, 341 attack, which is actually higher when you're on a hunt and have full health, 5% affinity, which is actually 55% affinity so long as you're going for monster weak points with no element. You'll have high deviation. As for the custom mods, I've gone for a shield mod and 2 recoil suppressors. For your special ammo, you'll have the Wyvern Snipe, and as for your defense, you have a decent resistance against water, but you're fairly weak to fire and dragon. As for the skills, you have attack boost level 4, health boost level 3, increasing our maximum health, recovery up level 3, which increases the amount of health restored through healing methods, so taking a potion, the health regen augmentation, and so on. You'll have ammo up level 3, weakness exploit level 3, peak performance level 3, recovery speed level 2. I've only gone for level 2 here as I didn't have enough space to max it out. Recovery speed increases the rate at which our health naturally regenerates over time, so long as there is a red portion of health on the health bar. Granted, with this build, this skill synergizes well with the set bonus, but we'll talk about that in a minute. You also have Dragon Attack level 1, a byproduct of the gear, but should you be using Dragon ammunition, it can help increase its potency. You'll have Spread Shots level 1, increasing the damage of our spread ammunition, Guard Up level 1, allowing us to block unblockable attacks, and you have Hasten Recovery level 1. Hasten Recovery is the Nergigante set bonus, but it is also found on the Empress Cannon Ruin. This allows us to restore health when we attack a monster. This also does stack with the health regen augmentation. You'll also have the set bonus Valhazak's Vitality, Super Recovery, allowing our health to recover on its own past that red portion of health, basically allowing us to completely recover our entire health bar over time. So this combined with the recovery speed, recovery up, hasten recovery and the health regen augmentation, meaning that this build's health regen potential is very high. Of course, you can make some changes depending how you want to play. For example, if you don't like spread ammunition, you can change out the spread jewel either for a force shot jewel, increasing the damage of normal shots, or potentially a pierce jewel to increase the damage of piercing ammunition. But remember that each heavy bowgun is limited on what ammunition it can take into battle. But anyway, let's move on to our fourth and final build, which is the tank build. This is a high defense build that doesn't focus so much on health regen, but focuses more on being able to take a hit and come away with it with minimal damage. On top of that, it also does have some damage options like the previous build, combined with a little bit of health regen. But on top of that as well, it's also using a weapon that has access to a lot of the various ammunition types available to the heavy bowgun. So it's a jack of all trades when it comes to the ammunition it has, so you'll be cycling through the various types of ammunition you have whilst on a hunt. So for this build you need the Empress Crown Gamma, the Empress Mel Beta, Nergigante Vambraces Gamma, the Nergigante Coil Gamma and the Nergigante Greaves Gamma. I'm also using an Awakening Charm too, and for my weapon I'm using the Empress Cannon Sticks. This has a health regen augmentation on it. As for the jewels, you have a lot to play with here. Firstly, I've gone for Vitality jewels to max out health boost, I've gone for Tenderizer jewels to max out weakness exploit, a Release jewel to max out ammo up, Defense jewels to max out the defense boost skill, and a shield jewel to provide us with that guard up skill. So if you've done what I've done here, you should have a build with 150 health, 100 stamina, which will actually be 200 health and 200 stamina when on a hunt and you've taken all your various consumables. You'll have 326 attack, which will actually be more on a hunt, so long as you have full health thanks to peak performance. You'll have 25% affinity, which will actually be 75% when you're going for monster weak points. With no element, you'll have low deviation. For the custom mods, I've gone for 3 shield mods. The more shield mods you have on a build, the stronger and more efficient blocking becomes on that build. You'll also have the Wyvern Snipe special ammo, and the build is very strong against fire and water, but fairly weak to dragon. As for the skills, you'll have Defense Boost level 7. This not only increases our overall defense, but it also increases our elemental resistances. You have Attack Boost level 4, Health Boost level 3, Ammo Up level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Peak Performance level 3, Wide Range level 2, a byproduct of the gear, but can come in handy when you're playing with others, as Wide Range at level 2 allows a small portion of the effects of your consumables to be passed on to your allies. So if you heal yourself with a portion of that healing will be passed on to your allies. You have Part Breaker level 1, a byproduct of the gear, but can come in handy for when we're trying to break monster parts. Agitator level 1, again a byproduct, but can be useful as when a monster becomes enraged, it increases our attack and affinity a little bit. You have Maximum Might level 1, Guard Up level 1, and you'll have the Spare Shot skill. Spare Shot is normally the Xeno'jiiva set bonus, but it's also found on the Emperor's Cannon sticks. As for the set bonuses, you'll have Nergigante's Hunger, Hasten Recovery, allowing us to recover a small amount of health when we're attacking a monster, and this does combine with the health regen augmentation, allowing us to restore a little bit of health when we're on the offensive. And you'll also have the Lunostra's Favour Stamina Cap Up, increasing our overall stamina when on a hunt. So as you can see, this is a very strong build when it comes to being able to take a hit. Whilst its health regen isn't as potent as the previous build, should you take a hit, it means that you won't lose as much health, thus the amount of health regen needed isn't as much as the previous build. Whilst having a small amount of health regen is definitely desired, as it will allow this build to get peak performance back should we take a hit. The main difficulty with this build will be cycling through the various ammunition you have available to you, but with the Emperor's Cannon sticks you have a lot at your disposal, and normally regardless of the hunt, this weapon has access to an ammunition type that can deal with your target. On top of that as well, thanks to the health boost and defense boost, rarely should you be one-shotted, and with this build, whilst they may not be the quickest, you can normally take on hunts very comfortably. So there we have it, those are even more builds that I use for the Heavy Bowgun. Of course, Monster Hunter World is always being updated with new monsters and gear that can potentially cause these builds to change and become even stronger, especially with Iceborne on the horizon. So if there are any major updates that happen to any of these builds, I'll be sure to release an updated video. Remember also that almost any task in Monster Hunter World can be taken on with any weapon and gear set. You don't have to use what is shown in these videos, these are just the sets that I personally like to use. But anyway, I hope you found this video helpful or informative, and until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you even more builds that I use for the Heavy Bowgun. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.